Hey everyone, this is Pallavi, and today I'm bringing you the second game from the book, The Most Instructive Games of Chess Ever Played by Irving Chernev. This game, titled The King is a Strong Piece, was played between Mikhail and Lisitsin in Leningrad in 1956. It features the Sicilian defense and highlights the power of the king in the endgame. As always, I'll focus on the key strategic movements rather than explaining every single move. Tal's play in this game is both instructive and inspiring. He understands the king's growing power as pieces disappear from the board. In the endgame, the king becomes a formidable force. Watch as king confidently enters enemy territory, captures pawns, and escorts one to promotion. A masterclass in endgame play. Let's see the game now. So white started with e4, black played c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, and then knight c3. Black played g6. Now white played f4. Now black played knight to c6. Black avoids a trap with this move, indicating that one must not play mechanically even at this early stage. If bishop g7 instead of knight c6, the natural follow-up to g6, then e5, d takes e5, f takes e5, and then knight to g4. Then white plays bishop to b5 check. Now black has options like king f8. In that case, knight e6 check, and white wins the queen. If bishop d7 or knight d7, then queen takes g4 wins a piece. So after f4, black played knight c6, and then knight takes c6, b takes c6, e5, attacking the knight on f6. Black goes knight d7, e takes d6, e takes d6, and then bishop to e3. Other lines of play look more aggressive but lead to no more than equality. For example, queen d4, then knight f6, bishop e3, bishop e7, bishop e2, and then castle, kingside castle. White also kingside castles, and then c5, which is equal. If instead of queen d4, white goes with queen e2 check, then bishop e7, locking the check, bishop e3, and then kingside castle, which in my opinion is slightly better for black because of having a half open b file for black. Upon push to d5 would give him a centered pawn and an open e file where he can put his rook. So after e takes d6, white played bishop to e3, black played bishop e7, and then queen to f3, developing, attacking c6, and making way for kingside castle as well. Black played d5. Now white castled on the queen side, bishop f6, bishop to d4. Proper development isn't just about effective placement for attack, it also disrupts the opponent's influence. Tal demonstrates this by contesting control of every file, rank, and diagonal. Now black played kingside castle. White played h4, signaling his plan to open the h file with h5. Black played rook to b8. Black seizes an open file. Capturing the h pawn is risky because if bishop takes h4, then queen h3, g5 supporting the bishop, then g3 again attacking the bishop. Now knight f6, which is a discovered attack on the queen, but then f5, which traps the black bishop. So after h4, black did not capture the pawn. Black played rook to b8, and now white played queen to f2. Prevents the threat of bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, followed by queen b6, where black targets both the rook and the b2 pawn. So with queen f2, Queen supports the bishop on d4. Now black played rook b4. White captured, bishop takes f6. Tal declines the pawn offer, avoiding a potential trap, because if bishop takes a7, then queen a5, bishop e3, and then rook takes b2. King takes b2, bishop takes c3 check, king c1, queen a3 check, king b1, and queen b2 is a checkmate. So Tal declined the pawn offer and captured the bishop on f6. Knight takes f6, and now white played a3. Tal again resists the temptation of taking the pawn with queen on a7, and then black can go with queen d6, g3, rook takes b2, king takes b2, queen b4 check, king c1, queen takes c3. Black launches a powerful attack with threats like h5, then queen to a1 check, king d2, knight to e4 check, king e1, queen c3 check, king a2, and bishop g4 is a checkmate. So white completely avoids this variation and plays a3. Queen to b6. Queen takes b6, rook takes b6, and now white played a good move. A very powerful move, knight to a4. A powerful move despite the knight moving to the side. Tal aims to fix black's center pawns and dominate the weakened black squares. Now black played rook to b7, and now white played bishop d3. Knight h5 attacking the f4. White played rook hf1, black played rook e7, and now white played f5. A fine positional sacrifice. Tal gives up a pawn to disrupt a black's kingside structure while leaving black's bishop trapped by pawns on the white squares. Now after this, black captured g takes f5. Black is lured into capturing the pawn, which ultimately leads to his downfall. White played rook fe1, a strong positional move. Despite being a pawn down, Tal exchanges pieces to contest control of the open e file, preventing black from doubling rooks and taking full control. Now black played rook fe8, supporting the e7 rook. Rook captured rook, rook also captured rook. Now white played king to d2, the start of an extraordinary journey. The king heads to the queen side, ready to threaten all the pawns in its path. Knight g3. White played king c3. Black played f4. Clears the way for the bishop to come into the game. Now white played king d4. The king advances along the black squares. Black played bishop f5. Black aims to exchange bishops, being a pawn up, and has the following in mind. Bishop takes d3, king takes d3, then rook e3 check. When the king moves to d4, the rook goes to e2, gaining control of the 7th rank. So after bishop f5, white played rook d2. Black played rook e6 to go after the h pawn. Now white played knight c5, attacking the rook. Black played rook h6, and now white played king e5. Now the bishop is under attack. So is the pawn on f4. So bishop captured d3, c captured d3, and then black played rook takes h4. White played king d6. The king continues on his path cheerfully. Now black played rook h6 check. King to c7. Despite being 2 pawns down, white has better chances in the ending. His king is highly active while black's pieces are passive, effectively giving white a king advantage. Now black played knight f5 with the idea of knight d4. White played king b7, black played knight d4. The knight protects the c pawn, allowing the rook to become active. Black now threatens rook h2, followed by f3, winning another pawn and the game. Now white played rook f2. Now black played a5. White captured rook takes f4. Now black played knight e6, attacking the knight and the rook. White played rook to g4 check, king f8. If black tries to exchange rooks, being a pawn up, this shows the error. Like for example, if here black goes with rook g6, rook takes rook, h takes rook, knight takes e6, f takes e6, and then king takes e6, king f7, pawn pushes to b4, and white will have a new queen soon. So rook g4 check, black played king f8, and then king takes c6. The king fears nothing, not even the discovered check. So here black played knight takes c5 with a discovered check on the king, king took the knight, and then rook e6. White played king takes d5. One must resist the urge to say the pawns fall like ripe apples. Now black played rook b6, attacking b2, b4, a takes b4, a takes b4, and king e7. White played king c5 and then rook f6. White played rook to d4. Now this move separates black's king from the queen side, preventing the blocking of the passed pawn. Now black played rook to f5 with a check on the king. Now white played king b6. Better than rook d5. When rook f4, threatening rook g4 allows black some counterplay. So white played king to b6, and then black played rook f6 check, king c7, rook f5, rook e4 check, pushes the king further away from the queen side. King f6 and then king c6, supporting the b5 square to push the pawn to b5. Now black played rook f2, white played g4, saving the g pawn. Black played h5. Black sacrifices one pawn to create a passed pawn with the other. The move rook c2 check is ineffective, as after rook c4, black simply wastes a move. So after h5, now white played g takes h5, black played king g5, then b5. Black played f5, attacking the rook. Rook moves to b4 and then f4. Now white played b6. Black played f3 and white played b7, and black resigned. The finish, had Lisitsin played on, would have been, let's say, rook c2 check, and then king d5, f2, b8 promotes to queen, f1 promotes to queen, queen g3 check, king f6, because if king f5, then it's a checkmate on queen e5 or queen to g6. Both are checkmates. And after queen g3 check, if king goes to h6, then queen to g6 checkmate. So after queen g3 check, let's say the king goes to f6, then queen g6 check, king e7, rook b7 check, king f8, queen g7 check, king e8, and queen e7 is a checkmate. So here are the key lessons from this game. King activity. As the game progresses, the king can become a powerful fighting piece, especially in the endgame. Tal's king moves confidently into enemy territory, demonstrating the importance of king activity in endgames. Number 2 is positional understanding. Tal often sacrifices material or makes strategic moves to disrupt his opponent's pawn structure, showcasing the importance of positional play over material gain. Number 3 is controlling key files. Contesting control over important files and diagonals is crucial. Tal consistently challenges his opponent's control of key squares, preventing them from gaining dominance. Number 4, avoiding traps. Tal skillfully avoids temptations that could lead to traps, demonstrating the importance of caution and deep calculation in avoiding tactical pitfalls. Number 5, pawn structure and weaknesses. Disrupting the opponent's pawn structure can create weaknesses that can be exploited. Tal uses this strategy to hinder his opponent's coordination and create opportunities for his own pieces. Number 6, sacrificing for greater good. Sometimes material sacrifice is necessary to achieve a more significant advantage, whether it's in disrupting the opponent's plan or gaining strategic dominance. Number 7 is endgame technique. Effective endgame play, including understanding how to convert advantages like an active king or passed pawn into a winning position, is crucial. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and share to support the channel, and don't forget to subscribe for more chess content. See you in the next video. Bye bye. Thank you.